Browns, Texans, we're not going to see CJ Stroud this week. He likely is going to miss this game due to that concussion that he suffered the week prior. And we're going to see Case Keenum again. We got the battle of the old man veteran backups. Old man Grandpa Flacco has led the Browns to some really impressive wins. He played really well against Jacksonville, and he played really great in the fourth quarter against the Bears last week. And the Bears defense has been playing some really good football. Houston, you won a tough run against Tennessee. You're not going to be able to survive against this Browns defense the same way that you did offensively last week. You need more out of this offense. The Browns defensively last week, they only gave up 3 points, technically. Their offense had 3 turnovers, and those resulted in 14 points scored by Chicago. If Joe Flacco can limit the amount of mistakes that he makes in this game, the Browns, they should walk away with the W. Houston, without CJ Stroud, they got a chance because Cleveland's offense is still heavily inefficient, because Joe Flacco is still trying to learn the system, still trying to learn the teammates. 2 out of 3 of the interceptions that he threw last week were just miscommunication, where him and the wide receiver weren't on the same page. The Houston Texans have a really good run defense. They're 6th in the NFL and rushing yards per game allowed. That's what Cleveland wants to do offensively. They want to run the ball down your throat. Their offensive line is really beat up. They got like 5th, 6th stringers, guys who they just randomly got off the street starting for them on the offensive line. Houston defensively can keep them in this ball game, but it's asking a lot out of this Texans offense to be able to move the ball efficiently against a really good Browns defense. The Browns, they've been beat up defensively too, just as well on the offensive side of the ball. This defense has dealt with a ton of injuries, but that front seven is still fantastic, and you're going to have to deal with Myles Garrett. The Texans offensive line, they've had a lot of struggles this year. Are you going to be able to hold up and protect Case Keenum in a game like this? The Tennessee Titans don't have the same defense that Cleveland has, and you barely were able to move the ball up against them. Cleveland's recipe to success is making sure that Grandpa Flacco doesn't give the Houston Texans any Christmas presents. All right, you got to be like the Grinch who stole Christmas. You got to take care of the ball, and you got to make sure that Houston doesn't get any extra opportunities, because that's what they're looking for. And this defense is going to show up regardless of the amount of injuries they have. D'Amico Ryans has proven, because I took them last week to lose to the Titans, that you can't count them out just because they don't have CJ Stroud. You still feel really confident about Cleveland's chances of walking away with this win? Case Keenum against this Browns defense? Yeah, let's see how that plays out. But turnovers could really cost them if Joe Flacco doesn't do a good job of getting that under control. Yes, we get that he just was on the couch a month ago, and he's been an incredible story, but going up against the Jaguars, they're a team that beats themselves consistently. Houston, on the other hand, they're not really a team that loses the turnover margin too often, and they're really good at forcing takeaways in their own right with how well that secondary is playing with the recent emergence of young cornerback Derek Stingley. You got Will Anderson. There are a lot of young players, a lot of good vets on this Texans defense, and that's going to be good enough to keep them in this game and to keep this thing close. And I'm pretty confident that Joe Flacco is going to give them a couple of turnovers. That's just the kind of quarterback that he's been with this team. They've just found ways to rally in the fourth quarter and win tight games. If this is a tight game, you should be a little nervous if you're a Browns fan. You want to be able to go into the fourth quarter up 10 points. Houston's offense, if they can get the 20 points in this game, then they got an 80% chance of winning this thing. This offense is going to have a hard time being able to score a lot of points against a really stingy Cleveland Browns defense. I'm taking Cleveland to get the win. I'm pretty confident that they should be able to pull this one out. No CJ Stroud. The Texans are without some of their best receivers. Tank Dell is out. Defensively, the Texans is going to be able to stay in this game, but their offense, I think, is going to be a little bit mismatched and overpowered by the talent that the Browns have defensively. Give me Cleveland 20 The 10 is my final score prediction for this game.